Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on PoliWine, where we'd like to take a deep dive into stories pulled from the media and have a fun time while breaking it down. I'm Jillian, and let's get into it. Let's get over to the absolutely crushing stories that are coming out of Los Angeles. Let's get into the wildfires. As long as with the rest of the world, I am an East Coast girl, so I am only seeing what is coming out on the news, on the internet, on social feed, and to see the images and to hear the stories of survival and just loss, it is gut wrenching. It is heartbreaking. And for this to see this happening today, it's kind of unthinkable, but it's just such a sad thing to see. I mean, to see the pictures of just rows, blocks, streets, entire neighborhoods gone, completely wiped away. It's unimaginable. I was watching 60 Minutes, and they were doing a story from the Los Angeles fires, and they were going down this one street, and it was just there was nothing. The only thing that you could see standing from homes were chimney stacks, and they were essentially like you could see chimney stacks like they were lot markers in a neighborhood. That's it. There was nothing left but ash, not even rubble, just ash. Nothing there. I remember when we were talking about the fires in Maui a little over a year ago, and that was also fueled by very strong winds. And that was like 80 some mile an hour winds then. And just to see the devastation and destruction and the aftermath of that, which was so quick. And I remember the images of this one house that was on fire, and this gust of wind caught it, and it literally arched from this house to another house. That was what we saw in Maui. Now, this in California, which is just devastating, destructive Maui. And then I remember the stories from Maui fires several years ago when it happened quickly and people had to flee immediately and they were abandoning their cars in the road because they couldn't get out fast enough. That was several years ago. This is on such a scale that is just such unimaginable. It really is to me. The aerial footage is just, I'm just speechless, absolutely speechless. So what I was saying is that I was watching 60 Minutes, and the gentleman that was reporting the story, he was, taking images of streets and neighborhoods, nothing there. He was interviewing, I think one of the chiefs for the fire department in Los Angeles, and they were asking, what about infrastructure? Some people were saying that there wasn't enough water, wasn't enough water pressure, the lack of resources. And the firefighter was just saying, the commissioner was just saying, or chief, pardon me, whatever his title was. First of all, the poor man looked shell-shocked. He looked exhausted, shell-shocked. The fog of war from him. He has gone through it, and he was saying there was no way that this type of infrastructure could handle anything on a scale like this. Like if you had a neighborhood fire or a couple buildings, you could have, like he was saying, like for one house fire, you could have about 3 fire trucks on it to help put that out. But you would need 26,000 fire trucks. And he's like, and I don't even know if the state of California has that many. So the scale of what they would need to even see if they could even put a dent in it, it's just unimaginable. There was not enough water, not enough resources, not enough manpower, not enough anything to handle that. I mean, when you saw the interview the first day, when I don't know, pardon me, I'm not sure it was because I've watched so many press conferences. I don't know if it was the mayor, the commissioner, who it was, firefighter, I don't know, but they were just saying, there is no way we can contain this. This is so out of control. And the winds were 80 to 100 miles an hour. And certain times there were 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That is hurricane wind strength. And it is just fueling the flames. And what during that interview, the chief was saying is that typically wildfires go up. They will go up the mountain, right? Because of the wind being so strong, it was forcing it down into the valleys where the neighborhoods, where these heavy populations were. And just these little tiny ambers and just chunks of debris would just get caught up in the winds and hit a tree and hit a house. And then whew, the ripple effect. It was so out of control that nothing could be done. And Mother Nature flexed her mighty muscles, and her power just seemed too strong. It was just too much for us. And for those who are affected, I am so, so sorry. Our heart goes out to you, to your loved ones, to your family. What do you do when you've lost everything? How do you pick up nothing to go on? Like, some of these people weren't even able to go home to get a few personal items, to, even extra clothes or personal documents, things of extreme importance, they weren't able to get. And those who were at home had to flee in such a moment's notice that if they were able to get a few things, it was random pieces at that. And it's just the stories that are coming out are just so heartbreaking, and it's still happening. These fires are still going on. I mean, like the first, what was it, 24 to 30 some hours, they were not even able to use aerial assistance. So the planes, what are they called? The super sucker airplanes that suction water out of oceans and lakes to help extinguish the fires. They were not able to use them because the winds were so strong. They were grounded. So those first day and a half, not able to have those crucial hours to help try and contain something, they were not able to use aerial assistance, which is a huge aid when they need it for wildfires. And it's just, I mean, just think of the manpower behind it, all the firefighters that are coming in from all over to try and help. It's just, I don't know what else to say. It is absolutely unimaginable. And sure, you hear about the Pacific Palisades, very exclusive, wealthy community, how that's wiped out. But it's not just that. This is so widespread. It goes to other communities and other neighborhoods. Look, I'm an East Coast girl. I don't know these little pockets and towns and communities in LA. I only know what I've seen on the TV and news. But it is so widespread. And going back to that piece on 60 Minutes, like I said, it was a really good piece. They were talking to this one member of the family, and just to kind of put it in perspective. And this guy was a high school coach, okay? A high school coach, normal guy. And he had grown up in this area on this one block in LA his entire life. And 5 members of his family all lived within this radius of him, okay? In this block that they all grew up on. 5 members. His sister lived next to him, cousins, other family, all right around him. They lost everything. Everything that they've ever known, have grown up with, all gone. And his sister that lived next to him ended up passing away. She died in the fire. She didn't make it out in time, and she passed. So this is just one family. It's just think of how many thousands, tens of thousands, if not more people have been affected. They've lost everything. And where do you pick up to rebuild if you can rebuild? And then there's all these stories coming out about insurance dropping people. If they are able to get insurance, they're getting very little. These are early stories. I don't know. This is what I have been reading and hearing. It is so sad. There's stories about price gouging coming out, which is just despicable. And the local authorities have come out and said if there has been any cases that has been proven of price gouging and taking advantage of the situation in a natural disaster, in a dire situation when people need it the most, taking advantage of them, you will be held accountable and be taken to justice. So I'm glad that that was put out there because, oh my God, the mass scale. I've heard stories of people being relocated multiple times. They're told to evacuate one building. They'll go, one home or building, wherever it be. Maybe it's a work, maybe it's an apartment building, whatever. They'll be evacuated. They'll go to another location. They'll get to that location and that location will be evacuated because it's just so widespread. I thought I was reading that there were 6 separate fires at one time. Come to find out there were 8 separate fires. These pockets of fires are popping up everywhere. And they had a little tiny break in the winds over the weekend, just a small break. And they're expected to pick back up on Monday to carry through to Wednesday, back in like 70 some mile an hour winds into the 80 mile an hour winds. So, they just cannot catch a break. It is just heart-wrenching. And just like I said, the insurance, do you rebuild? Can you rebuild? Will you get your money to rebuild? Think of all those people that lived in apartment complexes that didn't have renters insurance. I didn't know a lot of people that had renters insurance back when I rented back in the day. I did, but I didn't know many people that did. So just think of all the renters that think of the fallout, think of the ripple effects once the fires are put down and people can finally go in. Some people are able to go into their home. A lot of people are still not able to go to where their home was. They're not allowed to go back into some communities. They're still not safe. There's still open gas lines. There's still open power. It's just anything that you can imagine that can go wrong is happening in just this natural disaster. It is just one tragic and sad story after another. Lost loved one, lost friends, lost pets, possessions. It's just heartbreaking, but it's just the scale. It is miles and miles of destruction, of nothing but ash, just sticks of trees that are left of what were once full flourished palm trees, just nothing but twigs. It is when you hear the expression, this is like apocalyptic and cataclysmic. It is all of that. And the state of California to the city of Los Angeles, our hearts are with you. Whatever we can do to help you, we are here for you. This is just, it is so sad. It is so devastating, just heartbreaking. And if you want to give, if there's any way that you can give either your time, money, donations, clothing, whatever it may be, please see if you can find a reputable charity that will give those needs and goods to those that need that aid. I always say that the American Red Cross is one of the best, the Salvation Army, local food banks in Los Angeles. But please go to some reputable sources, local news, government websites. They can help steer you in the right direction, that are reputable charities where your money will actually go to those who need the aid the most. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. You just don't think that you'd see something like that today. And here we are. And it's just been so much. Like I said, we had Maui, we've had the ones in Malibu before. And like these Santa Ana winds, this is a common natural occurrence. And I don't know. Just this affects everyone. It doesn't matter your socioeconomic standing. It does not matter. It affects everyone. And just think of the businesses that are lost. How long, like I said, when people finally can go back to, whatever is left of their home, just their lot or whatever, and where they can sift through whatever they may find for their belongings. If you rebuild Do you? How long does it take? You know, businesses, are they going to rebuild? Is it going to come back? Are they going to restart? Um, how many businesses is this going to affect? How long will this period of recovery be? I have no idea, and I don't think anyone else does either. And we all know that Los Angeles has a lot of complications with regulations and putting, getting things moving forward for development and rebuilding. From what I have heard, I do not know. I do not live there, but I heard sometimes it can be a lengthy process for regulations. Let's hope there is a faster, more efficient way to get the ball rolling. Because what do you do? How does this come back? How do you rebuild? Right? Los Angeles, my heart for you. And then let's get to what we know at this time. We still don't know the cause of maybe what started this fire. They still don't know. That investigation is undergoing. Right now, from what I have read, and this number will probably continue to rise, is that the death toll now stands at about 24. Now, they're still in an active situation of putting out the fire. They are not in a recovery situation yet. This is a rescue and a putting out a fire. Once that all settles, and I'm sure they start sifting through the ashes and they go to recovery, I'm sure that number will probably rise. It's just so sad to think. It's so sad to think. I mean, just think the human toll, the animal toll. It's just awful. The scale is just awful. And I was thinking about the movie industry out there. I mean, that's hard. You see the Hollywood sign, that's their fear that that's going to go down because that's such an iconic image of Hollywood. That is the sign of LA. That's the heart of the entertainment industry, which is in Los Angeles. And, they just kind of got back. So you had COVID that was just crushing to that industry. Then you had that large strike that went on for a very long time. So they're just slowly trying, getting back into the swing of things. And then this. Now, I know a lot of filming is done in other locations. I know Toronto is a big one, Vancouver, and, Atlanta, and there's other places that they're doing a lot of filming, but still a lot of the heart of what goes behind the scenes of the entertainment industry still happens there. So what happens to that industry? This is so early on. We really do not know how long, how intense, how hard the ripple effects will be from this. And right now we're just seeing devastation and heartbreaking stories. We haven't even gotten to a drop of the information of what's going on and how much has been lost, how many lives are gone, how much it's going to take to rebuild, how long. I mean, I've heard numbers from like 12,000 buildings they think are gone. I'm sure it's probably much, much more. When you see the aerial footage, it looks like a war zone. It looks worse than a war zone because at least there's rubble in a war zone. There's not even that. I mean, it's just ash. I mean, even when you see pictures of like tornadoes that just wipe out neighborhoods, there's debris. There's no debris. You just see shells of cars that have been burned out. And like I said, chimney stacks and just smoldering ash. It's something I've never seen. We are only just days into the new year, and this is what we're already dealing with. Wow. I mean, 2025 starting off, it's been a bumpy start. So, let's just please give everybody grace and understanding, give them compassion and empathy. And if there's any way that you can help or volunteer, if you can, please do so. We're going to need it. I mean, they need everything. That's why I say make not only like the American Red Cross, Salvation Army, but I would think like local food banks. You would have to go to reputable organizations. I do not know which ones are in LA, but I would think that the food banks would need food. There's the tens of thousands of people that are going to need, everything: food, water, clothing, personal hygiene items, diapers, toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, soap, you name it, everything, medication. And it's just, it does. It looks like there has been, LA has gone through a war of natural disaster. And LA, I am so sorry. Our heart goes to you, and we are thinking of you, and we will do whatever we can to help out. And whatever we can do from a distance. I mean, I'm an East Coast girl, and like I said, I'm seeing what you're seeing and the rest of the world is seeing. Now, let's take a little bit of a shift, but it's going to kind of go a little bit into what we're discussing. So, not only do we have what's going on in LA, the natural disasters, we've already had what happened in Las Vegas on New Year's, what happened in New Orleans on New Year's. So, like I said, it's been a little bit of a bumpy start, but less than a week now, the Trump will take office. The inauguration will happen in Washington, D.C. And boy, that new administration is going to be starting off with a heavy load. This is a big one, and I hope that they rise to the occasion because we need it. We need strong leadership here now. But with that being said, it is happening. The new administration stepping in. They have just announced a few of the names that will be performing at the inauguration. Carrie Underwood will be performing. You also have Lee Greenwood and some other celebrities will be there performing at the inauguration. And of course, you always have the military bands. So next week, inauguration, the new administration takes office. So let's see where that goes the first couple weeks of the new year, and you're walking into it. So be prepared and have a plan. There's chaos just kind of happening everywhere. So let's get it in order. We have things to focus on. All right. Now let's get into a little bit of some other news. So let's move over to the NFL. This is wild card weekend. Have you been watching? How have your teams been playing? I've been saying, let's go Ravens, and the Ravens pulled out another one, and yay. So excited. Impressive to watch. That is a strong, strong team right now. So I hope they go all the way. Let's go Ravens. Super Bowl. Let's go. I'm going back to some of the other stuff with leading into the Super Bowl. Like I said, we've also had some little bit of hiccups in New Orleans. So security, please, security. Let's be prepared and heighten security for sure. And everybody see something, say something wherever you may be. It's a different time. All right. We all have to look out for each other and stay safe. Let's move over to a little bit of some fun stuff. Can we? It's already been a little heavy. So let's move into a little bit of some fun stuff. Let's move into a little bit of comedy. If you watch Netflix, Gabriel Iglesias released a stand-up called Legend of Fluffy. I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch it. If you just want to have a little bit of fun, put the worries of life aside for just a little bit. It was fun. It was like an hour and a half performance. So for a stand-up, that's a solid performance. And it was funny. He talks about life and where he is at his age, and just life in general. And it was really funny. I kind of stumbled across it. Didn't really know it had been released, or didn't really expect to watch it. And I did, and I enjoyed it. So thank you for giving me a good laugh. I needed that. I really needed it. And so if you need it, go turn to it. So Gabriel Iglesias, Legend of Fluffy on Netflix. Like I said, it's about an hour and a half, but it's worth the watch. I do want to go over to something that we have been talking about and very excited for the new season to release. It has dropped, and it has definitely so far been very enjoyable. That is the Traitors Season 3, Alan Cummings. You do not disappoint. You always come with the outfits. Love it. If anybody can wear a good plaid or a gingham, Alan Cumming can. And I love his dry humor. And I love the dog. The dog that's always on like that little luxury couch, like, that's near a lock, or that's always off to the side with a coat on when there's a challenge. That little dog is so cute, and he definitely steals the show. Is that his real dog? I hope it is. This dog's really cute. But I just love Alan Cummings. And the housewives, they came with a strong group of housewives. And spoiler alert, if you have not watched it yet, Peacock's already released, I think, was it 4 episodes? 3, I think it was. You've already had a couple eliminations. You've already had a couple murders. So what'd you think? Spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you the first one who was eliminated. And yes, it's a housewife. I don't know. Was I shocked? Wasn't shocked? I don't think I was really shocked. I was thinking I was expecting her to go maybe a second or third, but not to be the first eliminated. Miss Dorinda. Dorinda from the Real Housewives of New York. She was axed. Yeah, she was axed. First one axed. She came in a little hot. She was a little hyper defensive. And I think that rubbed everybody the wrong way. They're like, she's too much. She's going to be a problem. That's my take. I think everybody said she's coming in hot. I think she's going to be a problem. I think she's going to start way too much negative drama in the house. So we got to get her go. And of course, they wanted to break up the housewives, and they did. I liked it. I have to say, Wells and Chanel Ayan from The Real Housewives of Dubai, they were really funny together. And he said once, he was like, Ayan is all over the place and she doesn't stop talking. He's like, so my strategy is to stay as close to her as I can, so I don't have to talk and I'm under the radar. So I thought that was pretty funny. And I thought what a good job just to be a bartender on that show. That's a pretty good gig. But I thought those two were really funny together. A lot of the housewives, I don't know any of the characters from Big Brother, Survivor. They come with a lot of personality. Like, they are in it for the game. Those are real gamers. And, was it the girl was it Survivor last year? I can't remember if it was Survivor or Big Brother. She earned it. That girl earned it. But they come to play. Like, a lot of the housewives, I think they're just in it and they think they are ready to play the game, but they really don't. It's always the real gamers. It's like, was it Challenge? Is that what the other one's called? The Challenge, the Big Brother, and Survivor. So let's see who wins, but they come with a lot of ego. A lot of ego. When the one guy came into the house, I think, what's her name? Carolyn, the blonde girl. And I think she was from Survivor. She's like, I do not want him in the house. This guy is a bleep. And she's right. He is. He seems like a douche. I'm not a fan of him already, but he seems like he'll play a good game. So he'll add the challenge. He'll stir the pot. I love the round table when they all start throwing each other under the table. Robin Dixon, I cannot believe you have already rode the wave of safety this far and this long. If you can ride it longer, go for it. I'm shocked. I am shocked you are still there, because I've already watched the few episodes that have already been dropped on Peacock. I cannot believe Robin Dixon is still there. Shocked. But you know me, I always love Dolores. And I love the fact that Dolores gets so upset when Alan Cummings throws the pictures on who's murdered or eliminated. He throws them on the floor, and she'll go running over. Don't do that to my friend. That is a good girlfriend. That's why everyone loves you, Dolores. You don't put up with your shit. You're ride or die. I love me some Dolores. I love Dolores, and she always looks good, even with her aviator glasses on. I cannot wear those. They make my face look huge. She looks great in a bun and aviator glasses. I do love me some Dolores Catania. She looks great. But Traitors season 3, so far, so good. I'm really enjoying it. And they've had some new twists this season. And I like it. Keeps it fresh. Keeps it fresh. So I am really enjoying it. Going over to another thing I kind of stumbled across the other day. Every now and again, I will dabble a little bit into the 90 Day Fiance franchise. Like I said, there's so many spinoffs. It's so hard to keep up with. But I did. They actually are in the before the 90 days, and they're at the tell-all. So far, so good. The drama is intense. It really is. It's on a high level. A lot of different cultures, a lot of clash of personalities. I'm enjoying it. Only the first one. And man, they've already gotten into it. Where did he get these guys from? It's not so much the girls. Some of the times, every now and again, you'll meet a girl and you'll be like, oh my God, wow. First and foremost, we'll never have another Jasmine. There's only one Jasmine. I freaking love Jasmine. Jasmine and Gino. Jasmine, I love Jasmine. You will never get another Jasmine. But it's usually the guys. Like, where do they find these guys? Where? Please, let me know. I need... And whoever finds them, who casts them or picks them, what does that pool look like? I mean, that's got to be quite a stack of applications, resumes, you name it, whatever. Wow, you know how to pick them. They are complicated. Most of them come with a lot of baggage. The gentleman who was shot and is now, is he a quadriplegic now? I think he said, please, if I am incorrect, he's in a wheelchair due to a spinal injury from that. Wow. He's a lot. I am really enjoying it. Really. So if you have a chance, you want to watch a non-brainer, you don't want to think about it, you just want to watch drama, there's not a lot on yet. Shows are slowly coming back into it after the new year. But the 90 Day Fiancé tell-all, I have really enjoyed. I always want to know, Sean Robinson, first of all, Sean Robinson, you are timeless. You have not aged at all. You're gorgeous then. You are gorgeous now. The things that must run through your head. And I love the fact that you do chime in now and again. Like, wait, what did you say when I was watching the telos? That seems like something that you would remember. That's right. She does chime in now and again. She usually is quite reserved and stays silent and doesn't give a lot of opinions. But when she does, it's quite entertaining. But she does so many of those. And that is a great gig, by the way. I don't know how you locked that one in, Sean Robinson. You locked that one in early. And you win, because there's just so many spinoffs. Like, that is a full-time job. But she looks great. She handles it really well. I really like Sean Robinson in that situation. But what goes on in your head? Because you've seen all kinds and everyone at this point. So I would love to be a fly on the wall during the taping. And I can't imagine how long that actually goes on. Was it just one day? Is it multiple days? But wow, what goes on in your head? I would love to know, to be a little translator box. I want to know what goes on in your head, because it's just craziness. But that has been interesting cast. The 90 Days Last Resort is also airing. So, I mean, if you want a little back-to-back, you can watch that. So TLC's pumping them out right now, that's for sure. Now, let's go over to some of our Bravo shows. We just had the Real Housewives of Potomac, and I actually want to jump back to the wildfires in Los Angeles. You know, we joke about our housewives and things like that all the time, especially on this show. But these are real people that have real emotion, real families, and, you know, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, that's this is their backyard where those wildfires are happening. And one of our darling housewives of Beverly Hills has, come out and said that she lost her home. She lost everything. And that's our new girl, Bose. She lost her home. We just recently saw her home on the shows, and it is super cool. Backyard, gorgeous, really cool, artsy on the inside, decorated, really kind of cool and edgy. I really liked it. Gone. That house looked like it was just a house of comfort and love, and that's gone. Just gone. And, and just think she's got a young daughter. Just think of everybody. Just, So, we laugh at these shows and stuff like that, but I just want to bring it back to reality. This is real. So, with that being said, let's enjoy what we see on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills now, because we know what we see on the show that we watch tomorrow, next week, or the rest of the season, it's all going to change. It's never going to look like that again. So when you're watching that show for the next couple weeks to the end of the season, it's never going to look that way again. So enjoy what you see. It's gone because they were just at the Viper Room. Is the Viper Room gone? Is that gone? Because Sunset Boulevard's wiped away. We just saw last week that they were partying on Sunset Boulevard. I think that's Sunset Boulevard, right? In the Viper Room. Is that gone? Because Sunset Boulevard, gone. All the establishments it's gone. Wow. So think about that. Now, let's go. We just had the Real Housewives of Potomac that aired, and they were in Panama. I have to tell you, Panama, you are on my travel list. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So beautiful. And again, that's where Jasmine is from 90 Day Fiancé. So they were in Panama, all the girls. Can I just say something? As much as I love my girls in Potomac, something has got to happen. This is a very dry and boring season. I'm enjoying the lightheartedness with Ashley and her new interest. And I'm enjoying that. Nothing else is happening. Nothing. So you got to give me something. Karen's laying low right now. I think she's feeling the heat of all the pressure from this legal such situation. And we know that's right around the corner is her sentencing. So what do you think? Do you think she's going to get time? She could get some time. So what did we talk about? Was it the 25th she's supposed to get? Is there sentencing? It's in January. So it's right around the corner. So stay tuned. We're going to be discussing that. But Karen's staying a little low right now because maybe it's that. I don't know what's going on with Miss Huger, but there has got to be something that happens in this season soon. Something. So with that being said, not a lot happening on Potomac. I think all the drama is honestly happening on Beverly Hills and Salt Lake City. At least these girls kind of are getting the assignment. I don't know what's happened in Potomac. They started off on a decent path, but it's just kind of gone a direction. I have no idea what's happening. But yeah, I keep going back to Beverly Hills, right? And when I watch it this week, I'm going to be looking at everything. I'm going to be looking at their homes. What about Erica? Poor Erica just had the designer come over to, decorate it. Did it happen? Is it gone? I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to be watching everything on Beverly Hills now with a very different view. Because all the scenery that you see driving around, the iconic things that you see in the distance and the landmarks on the show is no longer there. Are they going to film right away? Can they film? Are they going to, I was saying to a friend the other day, I was like, we were kind of talking about Beverly Hills stuff, and they're like, you know how with Vanderpump Rules and some of the other shows when the drama really hits. I think it also happened with Real Housewives last year when the Kyle and Mauricio split broke. They picked up cameras and started filming again. And, they were like, do you think they could do something like that with this shows to kind of see what's happening on the show and in LA. And I was like, I don't know, because it's so widespread and it affects so many. Like, I don't know if they can get enough people to, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. LA, there, I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. We are going to be talking about this in history for a very long time. People that are affected by this and the state of California, this is going to be in the history books. Like, you read about the fires, the century in San Francisco, right in the early 1900s. Well, this is, they said this is the worst fire in Southern California history ever. So not only is this going to be history books, families are going to be talking about this for generations and generations and generations to come. Oh, I was reading about this great grandpa in my history book. Were you alive during the Los Angeles fires of 2025? It's just, So just do what you can, and, also take this time to appreciate what you have. Wherever you are in the world, think when you read and hear of these stories that are coming out of LA and other parts of the world due to war and whatever the crisis may be in that part of the world, just take a moment and be thankful for what you have, where you are right now, because life is short, life is sweet and precious, and things can change in a blink of an eye. So be thankful and grateful for what you have, and love harder, stronger, and, appreciate everything. Let's help. If there's anything that you want to discuss, please reach out to me on Instagram at PoliWine Time, or you can follow PoliWine wherever you get your feed. So thank you so much for joining us today on PoliWine. So take care, everyone, and see you next time.